So recently, Donald Trump placed a call to the widow of a fallen Green Beret soldier, young African American man. Three of his comrades and himself were murdered over in Niger, fighting terrorism, allegedly. And Donald Trump tells this woman, I guess he knew what he signed up for. The stupidest thing you could say to somebody who's grieving, but it's Donald Trump, so I'm really not surprised. Now, Donald Trump has tried to say that he didn't say this. I don't believe him, okay? Because anybody with a half a brain who's paid any type of attention at all knows that Donald Trump is a habitual fucking liar who can't tell the truth if his life depended on it, okay? He's just incapable of doing that, all right? And it sounds very Donald Trumpish. It sounds like something that he would say. So I believe that he said it, and like I say, no real surprise there. All right. But is this not a wake up call to black men and women in the military in uniform? Is this not a wake up call? Now, this video is not to criticize or to put down anybody black in the military, because I do understand why black men join the military, black men and women. I can understand the reasoning behind it. I come from a military family myself. I was never in the military, but most of my aunts and my uncle was in the military. My grandfather was an Air Force veteran, or is an Air Force veteran. He's 85 years old now. And they've all talked to me coming up, as a kid about the benefits of joining the military and all these different things. But my mom was the opposite. Okay. My mom was completely against it. And she pretty much brainwashed me into not joining the military, which is why I never went. Okay. Back when I was young, before I really thought about things in the world, I probably would have joined, if it wasn't for my mother. I didn't want to make my mother unhappy. So therefore I didn't. But there was a point in time where, I considered it. So this is not to put anybody down. I don't want you to feel like shit, or, I know that sometimes black men and women in the military, they get called coons and things like that. I don't think that that's the case always. It's not always the case. Sometimes it is, but not always. Okay. And I'm willing to go with the majority of the time it's not the case that a black person joining the military is a coon. Okay. I'm going to say the majority of the time that's not the case. I think that there's many different reasons why somebody would join the military. It could be for to set up a life for yourself. Financially, you get college paid for. Some people want to travel the world and see other places. Something that they might not be able to do if they didn't join the military is probably the easiest way for them to see the world. So I understand all those things. And if you join the military really believing that you're doing it for the protection of the citizens, then I respect you. I really do respect you for that. So I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea by this, because I do know black people in the military, and there's some black people in the military here on YouTube that I respect. So it's no disrespect at all. Okay. I want to stress that. I want you to understand that. Okay. But my question is, are you satisfied with the results? If you join the military to better this country, are you satisfied with the results of that? Because it just so happens that as a black man and a woman, you're allowed to go into the military and die for this country. But when you ask something as simple as, let's stop police brutality, let's stop killing unarmed black people in the streets, let's stop letting the police officers kill kids and get paid vacation. When we ask those things from our community, what do we get? Oh, you think you're special. What do you mean you don't want the cops to kill you? You think you're special? You're lucky we let you live. You're lucky that you're not enslaved still. These are the type of things that we get just for simply asking something. Okay. They really act like that's too much to ask. Let's take a look at police brutality. That is too much to ask these people, man. Simply asking that makes you a spoiled little brat in their eyes. Because you should be lucky that we even let you live here. That's how they look at it. And I've heard it all too many times. So what is the purpose? What are you fighting for? If you are fighting for a better America, if you're a black man in the military, black man or woman, what are you really fighting for if your issues can't even get addressed here in this country? You serve this country. You're protecting the country. You're taking your call of duty. You get back and you express yourself, you speak your mind, and all of a sudden you're a piece of shit. Even if you are in the military. If you're a black man in the military and then you come out and you speak out against Donald Trump or police brutality, you will be called a piece of shit, even though you are serving the country. So what is the purpose? Outside of the people who join for financial gain and those other reasons, for those of you who believe that you're really doing it for the country, the betterment of the country, what is the purpose of doing this if our issues cannot get addressed? They don't even want us to have our own community that's thriving with businesses. If we say that we want that, oh, well, you're in America. We're all together. You're not special. You don't need to be separate. You're part of us. But that doesn't apply to a lot of the Asians here in this country, because here in California, we have several different communities that are all Asian with thriving businesses, no English writing anywhere. All the writing is in their language, and they'll look at you crazy when you come through there because it's like a whole different country. It's like their own country, okay, in these areas in California and throughout the country. Why is that okay for them to have that? I mean, how come you're not telling them, well, they need to just blend in with everybody else? Why do black people have to blend in with everybody else? But see, then you guys flip-flop on that when it comes to other things. If a black kid gets killed by a cop and the black community gets enraged by it and we speak out against it, what do they say? Well, what about Chicago? What about Chicago? You need to be worrying about Chicago. All of a sudden, we're not all together anymore. Now we're all lumped up into Chicago now. Now we're all responsible. Even though I'm from California, born and raised, have never been to Chicago, okay? Never been there in my life, all right? I'm somehow responsible for what goes on in that community over there. And they talk about what goes on in Chicago like that's just the black community nationwide. And it's just not the case. So what happened to the unity then? All of a sudden, now we're separate. So you're okay to separate us when it's something negative. But when we want to do something positive separately from everybody else, this is America, damn it. You want to be separate, take your black ass to Africa. That's